Hey, welcome back to another video of Magdi tutorials. And today we're going to cover creating automation using MagdiCreator. So it's a new day, it's a new dawn. I'm Maggie, and let's get started. So we're going to click on MagdiCreator, where we're presented with a requirement screen. And you can set your requirements by typing or pasting them into this box, uploading a document, or we can just take it from a URL. And the amazing thing about it is you can derive requirements from an existing app that you have on the web. So here, if I enter in a URL, this is actually a demo test site that I found, and it's been very useful while I test this feature here in Magdi-AI called Demo Blaze. And I can put the information of this test website in the description below. If we click next, we have the options of doing creating manual tests or automated tests. And if we click automated automation tests, we can then decide on whether we want to create a new project or update an existing one. Let's create a new project. So this will take us to the settings, and we have settings specific for creating the automated project. And so therefore you can define what your tech stack should be. So here we can just kind of take the default playwright. We can take the default framework PyTest, and let's choose JavaScript as the language. And for technique, let's go with keyword. And here you have where you can have the project mode is by default set to new project. And also you have a screen scraping feature. This allows Magdi AI to kind of crawl through your application, identify the elements available and their identities, which is extremely helpful because that's one thing that's not a lot of fun. So I'm going to paste in the same website. So we're going to derive requirements from that website. And we're going to tell the screen scraper to crawl through and identify the elements in that app. And what Magdi AI will do is use that information so when it builds the automated script, it will build it with the right identifiers. So you can also say how deep in the application you want to go, whether you want it to be the current page with linked pages, or all reachable pages. Let's leave it set to the current page. You can also kind of select the viewport if you want it to be for desktop or mobile. So we're going to leave it at desktop for now. And if your website has a requires a login, you can then set the login. And again, I'll put this information in the description below. And so the site's login is test user and test pass. And you can see that we hide the password so that we can make that a little bit more secure. So when we go to the preview page, you can see the selections that you chose. You can see that you want to do a new automation project. You can see that the tech stack that you chose to create the automation project. You can see the sources that you're using. And if you click on Show Raw, it will show you a JSON representation of the options that you selected. Okay. And you can see all of the information that it is using in order to help build your automated project. So when we click apply and start chat, you can kind of see that it's letting you know, okay, we're in the process of doing screen capture. And so right now it's logging into that website. It's crawling through those pages. And so since we said just get the first linked pages, it's only going to crawl through those pages. And it's going to grab a list of the available elements and their identifiers. And again, it's going to use that information to help build your automation project. So here, what we're doing, and now it's beginning to generate your project. So, in a sense, what Magdi AI is doing is taking that collection of information where you said, hey, this is my app's requirements. This is how we expect it to function. This is the tech stack that I would like to use. Here's a list of the elements in the identifiers. And we're asking Magdi AI, please build a new automated framework based on the keyword technique. And it's really, really surprising that there are still a number of QA teams out there, a number of companies that don't use test automation. They still do manual testing. I would say that the closest thing that they come to automation is when they are building and executing unit tests or API type of tests. But when it comes to basic web testing, mobile testing, they're still using manual tests. And it really depends on the industry that they're testing for. So if they have a lot of security measures, they may stick with manual because anytime you have to kind of code around those security measures, it's very challenging. It's a very costly type of automation. And you actually need people with those advanced skill sets in order to do effective automation that's easy to maintain and has some longevity to it. Um, but there are teams that could do some automation or percentage of automation, yet they haven't gotten there. And now that we're entering into the world of AI, they haven't adopted that as well. And again, it really depends on the industry. Like if you have an industry that really has very specific requirements. There is human lives that depend on the technology that they're developing. They're just not at a place where they want to trust automation or they don't want to trust AI. They really want human eyes on the development of the app, the testing of the app, and they want to make sure that is safe for you humans to use. And this is especially true in the medical field. So now our project is generated, and the agent comes back and it tells you this is the plan that I followed. This is what's included in the plan and the type of test it created. All right. So before I actually show you the project that was generated, let me show you a configuration that you can modify once you install the Docker version of Magdi AI that allows you to self host a project within your own environment. And it's this parameter in your .env file that you will find once you install the Docker version of Magdi AI. And it's called Magdi Host Work Directory. And you can see wherever you kind of execute the Docker container, it's going to create this folder. And this is by default. Okay, so when Magdi AI generates the project for you, it's actually going to download a zipped version of the project for you. This happens in a Windows environment. I'm currently working on Windows and I'm working with the Chrome browser. And so this is kind of like browser behavior and it will download a copy of that zip file for you. However, the files are actually saved in a folder as defined by the configuration in the .env file, and you see that it will create a downloads folder for you. So there is a zipped version of the project. And if I was to explore that project, you will see that it's actually created a test folder, and you can see it has the playwright configuration file. And if you go into test, you see that it creates a number of folders called data, keywords, pages, specs. So if you go into pages, you will see that it actually created the keyword pages in JavaScript. And if you open up those files, you will see the actual code that is created. And I'll let you explore that on your own. If we go back to Magdi's run, we can actually go into the runs folder and you see that there is a project folder that is created by conversation ID. And when you go into it, you will see there is a capture folder and it has a number of files that it captured that kind of will show you screenshots of the web application that is under test. And then there is an unzipped version of your project located here. So you can actually see all of the files that are created unzipped. I zipped up the project to make it easy for you to be able to copy it to any location that you want. And here I'm just opening one file so that you can see the specification that was created for one of the features in the web app. And you can see that it's testing, is telling you or identifying what it's testing. And then it generates the code, and you can see that it's using keywords to actually navigate the test. And there is a keywords folder where it actually defines these conditions for you. It defines the methods and the actions that it's going to utilize. So, if you find that you want to continue the conversation with Magdi AI after the project has been generated, and I will be very forthcoming that as much as we wanted to create perfect code, there are times when you have to improve the code yourself. So you can either continue the conversation here, you can upload files here and say, hey, I ran the code and this needs to be improved. I got this error. Magdi AI will help you improve it. We have another feature, and if I click the back button, scroll over, we have a Magdi partner feature that is designed to be your pair programmer. And you can also utilize this to kind of continue the conversation. This feature is available both in the SaaS version of Magdi AI and the self hosted version, the Docker version of Magdi AI, but only Magdi Creator is available in the self hosted version. So if we re-enter MagdiCreator, let's update the project that we just created. So we're going to use the same technique of using the URL to capture the requirements from the test site that we're using. And then this time we're going to select automation, but we're going to say update existing. And then if we click next settings, you see by default, it'll say that we're updating a project. And here you can kind of see that we have a project list. And so therefore you can select the project by conversation ID. This is something we're going to improve in a newer version. But you can click on the conversation ID and it will populate the field for you with the location of the project. So you don't have to type it in or copy paste it. But in this current version, you might still have to look at, okay, which conversation ID am I working with? You can clear the selection in case you accidentally click the wrong project ID. And you also have these additional options of cleaning your repository of old downloads, old runs, old zips. Now, we do automatically clean it out for you, but if you want to kind of get a head start and clean out those directories, you can. Another feature that we provide is we give you the option of creating a new updated copy that's selected by default, or you can overwrite the existing folder. I wanted to give you that option so that you can choose whether you wanted to overwrite an existing project or you can create a new update to support your project. Sometimes what you want to do is have the code generated, review it before you merge it into your existing code for your automation projects. Um, Instead of just having it automatically overwrite, you may want to kind of assess if the code is up to the quality that you would like before overwriting changes that you know already work. So now let's enable Screen Scraper. We're going to scrape the same test site. And this time we're going to go a little bit deeper. Let's click number 1. And then we're going to leave the viewport as desktop. And in here, we're going to enter the username and password. You can see that the options that you selected are visible on the preview screen. And now we're going to click apply and start chat. And this is where it is now getting an updated version of the elements that are available on the website by capturing it and identifying those elements and the IDs associated with those elements. Now our project is generated. And now the agent tells you, hey, I've updated your project. This is what I have changed. These are the tests that I've created. I've added some tests. I've added some specs. And these are the files that is unchanged. And it even gives you instructions on how to execute your project, which is really helpful for people who are new to test automation. So here we go back to the actual folder. And now you see that there is an additional folder that was created, and you can see the later timestamp. And if you explore it, you can see the files that were created. And then you have the runs folder, which has the unzipped version of the project. And here, I clicked one too many times. You could see the newer timestamp. And here you go into capture and you can see that there are additional screenshots because we said, hey, capture additional screens. And so it did. And if we come back, it's going to give you a project that only contains the changes that it made. So if you go into test, you see that it has created these new pages as specified on the instructions that the agent gave you. So of course you can continue the conversation with the MagdiCreator to continue developing your test, or you can kind of return back to the welcome screen and peruse around any of the other agents and see how they can assist you. I hope you found this video instrumental in helping you learn how you can generate automated tests or create automation frameworks and assist you in all of your QA endeavors. And again, if you have any suggestions, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Leave your suggestions below. I will take them under advisement. And thank you so very much for spending time with me today to learn how to use MagdiCreator for all of your testing and test automation needs. Thank you. Have a good day.